Okay, good morning. So yesterday there was some interruption in the technology and I could not log in. So there was some issue with my network, which was set up in 2007 in order to bring streamlined changes in warehousing system itself. So the authority is constituted under the Act, okay, 2007 Act, and which came into effective from 2008 onwards. And significantly after this, a lot of development has taken place. And even in the current budget also, 2020-21 union budget also, there were a lot of things which were highlighted on this particular point on especially the driving for the cold storage units and enhancing the operational strength of warehousing across India, and also giving the technology touch for the operation of these warehousing facilities across India and all those things. So coming back to the functions, I think I was held up in the functions. I was just talking about what are the functions of this warehousing authority. Let me start up with the first important functions. The first important function is to issue of the applicant fulfilling the requirement for warehousing certificate of registration. So once the warehouse has been inspected and if they is found that it meets all the criterias, the next step is to give the certificate. Valid certificate will be given to all the warehouses which are fulfilling the condition as laid down under the Act. So that is one of the thing, issue of certificate of registration. That is very important thing. So then once we say issue of certificate, again it is subject to rectification, modification, and renewal and all those things. So once the certificate is not given, it's not for lifetime. So there will be series of audit which will be conducted on that particular warehouse, and whether they are meeting the criteria, everything will be inspected by the authority. And the renewal process should happen, okay, on time-bound basis. Renewal will happen. So any modification, if you are going for any changes or adding any other new things to your warehouse, all those things, again that needs to be informed, and you need to take up special permission for all those things also. And again, there is always the authority power to cancel or suspend your registration license also. So the certificate can be suspended or it can be taken back by the authority. So whenever it feels or whenever it thinks that you are not following the guidelines as laid out under the Act. So that is about the first point. So it is a not only issuing authority, but it is also an authority which looks into the further processing of your warehouse activities. So it has the power to go for renewal, or if it wants some modification, it will ask you to modify those things. Or if it wants to suspend your certificate license, they will do it. So it's an authority which has power to do all these things. So that is the main function of this warehouse regulatory authority is concerned with. The second important point is it regulates the registration and functioning of accreditation agencies in terms of renewing, modifying, withdrawing, suspend, and or cancel such registration, and also specify the code of conduct for officials of accreditation agencies for accreditation of the warehouse. So normally when these authorities function doesn't involve directly interaction with the warehouse people, they have some accreditation agencies through which they implement this whatever the Act provisions are there, right? That is implemented through an accreditation agencies. So here also we have a lot of accreditation agencies which will do all this inspection, granting of license, suspension of license, modifying, renewal. All these things are done by these accreditation agencies. So accreditation agency again are appointed by this Central Warehousing Authority, the chairman and the two resource person what we discussed yesterday. So they have the power to set the terms and conditions for this accreditation agency. So they are the monitoring body. They will see how this accreditation body functions, especially in relation to all the functions what it has been entrusted with. So it has always the right to go for cancellation, right to go for even suspension, or if there is any need for training or something like that, they even provide the training. They will make you to understand the law properly. So the accreditation agency should closely work with the authority, regulatory authority, which consists of chairman and the specialized two representatives. And third one is to specify the qualification, code of conduct, and practical training for warehouse men and staff engaged in warehousing business. This is very important, because seeing today's global developments which are taking place, especially in terms of the trade, and the expectation of the people across the globe, and also within domestic also, there is a lot of new system or new designs or new technology which is coming out, especially in terms of storage or in terms of movement and all those things. Example like Flipkart and Amazon, if you see, right, they use some high sophisticated technologies to grade, and also to load and unload, to select and to move, all those things. So there is a full technology driven storage system which are existing today across the globe. And even when we come to these commodity markets also, same type of warehouses equipped with a lot of latest technology and latest resources are also required. So that is one thing. So they create awareness and they train warehouse people, and they give necessary skill sets required and necessary training on hands of experience on how to use technology and what are the technologies which are there, creating awareness about the technology, and explaining about the role of warehouses in development, especially when it comes to the question of exports and all those things. So the task of how to do it, and the government objectives of how to implement schemes and all through warehousing and all those things, they communicate all these things. So as an authority, they are the people who do all the regulation things, and also at the same time they even protect the interest of the warehouse people also. So by how do they protect means, yes, by giving necessary hands of experience, by giving necessary required training for them, or helping them out with various engagements in terms of organizing some exhibitions, or sending them to international affairs, where warehouse related activities or logistic and supply chain related subjects of discussions are taking place in various forums like conferences, international conferences on that particular subject, all those things. So technology related training as well as hands of experience training, and also supporting the warehouses in order to garner to the future competition. So anything relating to these fields, so the authority will help out in warehouse men and all those supporting staffs and all those people who are working with them. They try to engage them and they try to give training to them and all those things. So that is the third important functions of Warehouse Regulatory Authority of India. So they not only give registration, they not only do accreditation for people to carry out warehousing activities, but also they provide necessary training and team building activities, and also infrastructure, technology related information. They pass on all this information to the warehousing authority also. That means warehousing corporations also. Then to promote efficiency to conduct of warehouse business. So anything which is relating to conduct of efficiency, efficient warehouse business, right? That support they give, either it's a technical support or monetary support, or anything related to networking system, or making the clients and the warehouses interactive. So whatever it is, so wherever they feel that there is a need for them to pitch in and help the warehousing and customer linkages, or cluster of warehouse developments, and setting up of warehouse at the proximity of transport facilities. So whatever it is, so they help that to promote efficiency. They do whatever the methods they want to adopt. They will help them out. So that is the main regular thing which is there with the regulatory authority. Then, of course, to make regulation, that is the core thing. Down the standard for approval of certificate for grading of goods. So grading of goods are very important. We have understood how grading is very important in commodity markets also. So the authorities, this warehouse regulatory authorities, spend a lot of time, especially in creating this awareness about grading, or they make regulations which lays down standards for grading. So that was the main constraint what we discussed when we are grading, right? What is the standards under which grade needs to be done? So there should be some predefined standards, and accordingly grading needs to be done. So who sets the standard? How standards are set? So if you allow the warehouse people to set the standards, then each and every warehouse will come up with different standards. So there will be a lot of confusions for traders who are trading with different markets with different warehouses. So the best way is to bring a uniform standard across all the warehouses, and that standards are fixed by this warehouse regulatory authority through various regulations. So they interact with various departments of the ministry, and they try to collate all the information relating to various standards practiced by various authorities or various departments of the central government organizations. So they come across the standards, and that standards are given to the each and every warehouses, and they ask to follow that standards. That is a regulation thing what they're doing. So standards are fixed, and they are asked to follow that standards. Then to make to promote a professional organization connected with the warehouse business. So yes, today's business involves a lot of skill sets, especially in terms of use of technology, like ERP or SAP related ERP thing, right, which is getting connected through your all financial, logistics and supply chain, all gets connected with your CRM and all those things. So it requires a lot of professional related activities which needs to be monitored by warehouses today. So it's not just a place where you keep goods or remove the goods, unlike used to do some 20 years back. So warehouse is not only a place where goods are kept and goods are taken out, but it's in a professional way how it is done. That's also very important, because at the end of the day, the cost saving and the effective use of resources are the main thing which is there in this warehouse management. So how do you do it? How do these things done? So then it should be professionally, consulting advisors should be taken from time to time, and how to link and how to make use of the technology in a better way in order to reduce a lot of dependency on various scarce resources also can be thought of. So keeping those things in mind, the regulatory authority has come up with professional handholding things. That is, they give professionally advisory services to warehouses in terms of use of technology, or in terms of use of different advanced related systems, or replacing the resources with a better resources, or how to plan your layout, warehouse layout plans. See, all these things are professionally managed. So today technology is driving the warehouse activity, where less number of people but more use of technology is creating very fast movement of things in the warehouse. So that is very important thing. So in order to do inspection, or in order to do quality check, or in order to grading, all those things, technology is driving all these factors today. So that requires a lot of professional understanding, and professional transformation of knowledge is also required. So this warehousing regulatory authority helps in promoting that professional organization which is connected with the warehouse business, and to call for information from undertaking inspection of conducting inquiries and investigation, including audit of the warehouse, accreditation agency and other organization connected with warehouse business. So this is very important role. Again, they are accountable. That's the role of the warehouse regulatory authority. They are accountable for anything which goes wrong tomorrow. So since that is the case, they will be very strictly monitoring how the warehouse functions, and also the accreditation agency is functioning also. So they try to monitor this, and they, wherever they feel that there is a need for them to conduct some audits, so that audit activities are initiated in that particular accreditation agency, or it may be directly in the warehouse also, or wherever they see that there is some disconnect between the functioning of the warehouse and the how things are moving up or shaping up in that particular warehouse, they may initiate immediate probe or inspections. So they may call for various inspections. The team, as a dedicated team from the ministry represented by the authority, will come and inspect your godowns or inspect your location, storage, and try to take the stock of how the warehouses have been maintained. This can be done at a random wise also, or on basis of specific complaint or information about that particular warehouse. So they try to ensure that the job, whatever they are assigned to do, that is whatever the warehouse authorities have asked the warehouse people to do, whether that has been done or not. So they ensure that the activities are carried out in the warehouse as per the stipulation mentioned in the Act. So Act is the governing thing, which will be the provisions of the same needs to be adopted and practiced in the warehouses. So that any deviation, anything will be monitored strictly by the regulatory authorities. So this is not only with the warehouse, even with the accreditation agency which are giving permission to the warehouse. So accreditation agency will also be accountable, okay, for whatever the rules and regulations and terms and condition as laid out under the authority. So authority is the one thing which fixes all the responsibilities and drill downs and sees to that whether everything has been followed. So if any small deviation, that may result in taking stringent action. So that may be in the form of either audits or inspections or frequent site visits and inspecting on personal grounds, all those things. So that is a very important function. Then we have some other functions like to determine the rate of and levy of the fees, other charges for carrying out the provisions of this Act. So I'll not get into too much of detail. So that is there. So fees and all those things, again, that is the responsibility of the authority to fix the fees. So, and to review the fees on regular basis and see if there is any fines needs to be collected, what rate it should do, all those things. To regulate the rates, advantage, terms and conditions that may be offered by warehouse men in respect of warehousing business. So whatever the fixation of price and all those things warehouse authority is doing, or whatever the extra collections they are doing for extra services what they are providing, see, everything is controlled or regulated by these authorities. So they will be monitoring strictly on all these fronts. So the ultimate objective is to see that the end farmers or any person who is going and depositing his goods or produce or commodities or whatever it is, he should not feel the hardship. So by charging exorbitant prices, or by charging some hidden cost and all, or by exploiting these farmers and all these depository people, all those things, it should not happen. So ultimately, the regulatory authority tries to monitor even that price fixation and levies or charges or extra thing what they collect. So that everything will be monitored by the regulatory authority. Then to specify by regulation the form and manner in which books of account shall be maintained and statement of account shall be rendered by the warehouse. So this is also a very important document. Accounting thing is different. We are not talking about the accounting part in warehouse. We are talking from the reporting perspective. Okay. What are the reporting things which the warehousing authority should do in order to give information to the regulatory authority? So what are the information you need to keep it, and what are the set of accounts or statements of accounts what you are supposed to keep and show it or give it to the authorities as and when it is demanded for or asked for. So accounting is one aspect, what you do according to AS accounting standards or Ind AS or whatever it is. So the second part is reporting. So what are the reporting thing what the authorities want? So how do you report the same to the authority, and what are the required set of books or account types what you keep in order to make sure that the authorities are happy or satisfied with the status of accounts or disclosure of accounts, whatever you are doing. So that is one thing which is very important. To maintain panel of arbitrators and to nominate arbitrators from such panel in dispute between warehouse and warehouse receipt holders. So normally such matters will not be taken up to court, because the court has its own time. It takes a lot of time for courts to settle the cases. So if you are taking each and every, if let us say a poor farmer is there, and you cannot expect the farmer to take that small case to, or a case to High Court or Supreme Court or District Court level or all those things, because it takes a lot of time, and also you need to spend a lot of energy and cost on fighting his case. So the best method is, as per the articles of the Constitution itself, there is a set of provision which has been laid out, which says that you can settle the case amicably without going to the court of law. So how do they settle? That is through arbitration. Arbitration is a process where you don't go to the court of law. So there are arbitrators who are qualified people who will be empaneled, okay, with this one, or they can be empaneled with the authority itself. And such arbitrators are appointed in order to help in terms of any conflict which arises between the warehouse authority, warehouse and the farmers community. So that is, they are the third party people. Okay, they are the third party and the expert people who know everything about the law and also the system, how it works and all those things. So they know about the produce, commodity, everything. So they are literally expert in all the field. So arbitrator services are taken, and when they are taking, even the cost of services are also will be a little bit of high will be there. They will be charging high service, but the settlement will happen immediately. It doesn't take too much of time. So again, whatever is decided by arbitrator is not the final. You can still be questioned in the court of law. That is, ultimately judiciary holds the key. But there is a scope for you to settle the cases at the lower level itself without going to any court. So arbitrators, you can represent yourself in front of an arbitrator. So arbitrator is a person who is a neutral person. He doesn't belong to the known person of the warehouse or known person of even the farmer. Is a neutral person, third party person who comes and settle the disputes. So that is one way, and this authority, regulatory authorities, helps in maintaining the panel of arbitrators with them. So they will send that arbitrator, any one arbitrator, and he will represent the authority and he will dispose the case. So he will hear your concerns, both of the concerns he will hear, and finally he will give the award. Okay, arbitrator award is given. So that award you need to accept, and you need to just settle the case mutually among yourself. So instead of going to court of law and all those things. So we'll not get into detail of how the arbitrator process works and all. That is not required for us. So that is appointment of arbitrator. That is, empanelment of arbitrators will be done by this authority, regulatory authority. So whenever there is a dispute between a warehouse and a farmer, so this case is referred to this warehouse arbitrator, and that arbitrator will settle the case mutually, so that no need to go to court of law for settling any cases. So that is the very important function which the regulatory authority does. Then it also regulates and develops electronic system of holding and transfer of credit balances of fungible goods deposited in the warehouse. Today I told you everything is in demat form. Okay, so your physical stock is converted into demat stocks. So that means your physical things are getting converted into a quantifiable, gradable, what is that? Time variance based. So all these things are done through electronic mode. That is called as dematerialization, demat. So that electronic form of conversion, everything is done under the supervision of these authorities. So terms and conditions and the level of what information needs to go into the electronic form, everything is decided by the authority. So entire warehousing system of electronic format, right, of keeping the stock, recording the stock, monitoring the stock, and disposing of the stock, everything, end to input to output process stage, everything of warehouse things are done through electronic form. And this electronic form, how to do it, and what are the principles under which it should be done, or the terms and conditions which it should follow, everything is again specified by the warehouse regulatory authority. So entire electronic system of holding is managed under the guidance and supervision of the authority. That's very important. Then to determine the minimum percentage of space to be kept reserved for storage of agriculture in a registered warehouse. So this is to keep the stock of the agriculture, because that is the predominant thing for which the warehouses are really required. because that's are more of agriculture produce are perishable one. So since there is no long life for those things, and if you want to save and protect that, it should be in a particular environment. You should safeguard those things. So since it's a very sensitive thing for storing agricultural produce, right? So there will be dedicated warehouse space in the warehouse. So that dedicated space will be used only for storage of agriculture produce. And that whenever there is a design or a design for construction of a warehouse, or when the authority comes for requesting the accreditation agencies for going and inspection and setting up of a new warehouse, right? So first and foremost, they will ask you all these things. So where is this dedicated space for storing agriculture produce? So every warehouse should have a dedicated space or storage for agriculture produce, and that dimension, all those things again will be given by the regulatory authorities, and it ensures that those things are followed by the warehouse at regular intervals. Then to specify the duties and responsibility of the warehouseman. This is one of the supervisory and authoritative powers which are being given to warehouse, where the warehouse authority tells what are their roles and responsibilities, and that duties and responsibility need to be adhered. So this is any misconduct or any misrepresentation or any fraud while doing the duty, that may lead to suspension or even cancellation of the license also. So they are very strict in those things, and to exercise such other powers and perform such other function as may be prescribed. So this is the normally will be there in all act. So this is subject to any new provisions which they want to introduce, or any new scope they want to cover up on those things, right? So there is provision for always to bring changes in this under the last point. That means whatever is required, or whatever powers needs to be given from time to time, that will be reviewed, and such powers will be delegated in order to perform the task. So that is the in nutshell about the regulatory authority. And what does finally, to wrap up, what does this warehouse regulate development and regulatory authority 2007 will lead to? So it will lead into the following 5 important things. The first one is it leads to standardization of the warehouse activities in the country. That is very important. So it's bringing a mechanism under which all the warehouses across India will work under one common platform. So that is very important. So bringing all warehouses, whether it's public, private, cooperative driven, branded warehouse, whatever type of warehouses you're operating in the country, right? So they will all come and report under this act. So the act does regulatory aspects for all this warehousing, just like how all banks are getting reported with RBI, right? So whatever RBI says, all banks will follow. Or Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, what all insurance business you are doing, that is regulated by IRDA. Similarly, SEBI controls all capital markets, so primary, secondary market, whatever trade you are doing, whatever transactions, it's controlled by SEBI. Similarly, what all warehouse activities, whether it's in public space, private space, cooperative space, or wherever it is, so that will be monitored by WDRA 2007. WDRA means Warehouse Development Regulatory Authority 2007 Act. So that is standardization of the warehouses across India. Then second one, efficient price discovery for warehouse product. So very important role, very important role. So price discovery they are telling. What do you mean by discovery? Because they find by storing that produce across all over the country, the stock of the commodities and all those things will be assessed. Okay, it is easy to assess. See, when data are there with you, right, you can easily project what should be the price, because prices are governed by demand and supply. So when you know what is the stock of commodities which are there with you across India, then you can easily assess what will be the demand for that particular product, and based on that you can arrive at a price. That is called as price discovery. That is arriving at a price for supplying those products in the market. So having proper data or proper information, okay, will make your things easy to fix a price. That's how things happen. So when you know everything, then you know every each and aspect, and you know what are the commodities stored at what places and how much is the demand and supply which is there in the market, then it's very easy to fix the price. So that is how they are telling it leads to price discovery. So that is a second important, very important objective, especially when we are talking about commodity market, because price is the criteria under which trade takes place. So pricing is one thing which people rely on, and they fix the future contracts. So once price is available in the market, so when the price is known, then the trading starts. So that's how the price discovery is very important, and that is performed by this warehouse development and regulatory authority. The third one is use of negotiable warehouse receipts, which are fundamental to the competitiveness of the industries. See, warehouse receipts can be negotiable or non-negotiable. What do you mean by negotiable? Negotiable means that which can be endorsed or which can be transferred, okay, from one person to another person. That is called as negotiability or endorsability or transferability. So if warehouse authority, regulatory authority ensures that you can also go for negotiable warehouse receipts. What is this negotiable warehouse receipt? Again, you can opt for it, whether you want negotiable or non-negotiable. So non-negotiable warehouse authority cannot, warehouse receipt cannot be endorsed or it cannot be given to someone else. But here you can give it. This is a very important thing, because let us say I want the stock of I want cash immediately, I want some liquidity, there is some emergency at my place and I want some money to be received, but since I've kept the stock in my godown, I will not be able to take it and sell it until the time period. So what I do, I can just take this negotiable warehouse receipt and endorse to someone else and take money from him. Or you can give it to bank also and you can take money from that. So endorsement ensures even transferable of ownership also. So you can do it anyway. So if you don't want to keep the stock, or if they don't want to trade that stock in that particular and doesn't have the bandwidth of waiting for such a long time and all, then endorse it, give it to someone else, transfer that negotiable warehouse receipt to someone else. So he will take the possession of the stock and he will give you the price. He will settle the money for you immediately. So that is one way of you to make use of this endorsement right. So this can be used for taking as a security, pledging of that particular thing, or transferring the rights to someone person and taking the value of that particular thing within the same time. So anything. So that is the concept of negotiable warehouse receipt. So very important receipt. Okay. Then possible inclusion of warehouse in town planning and thereby availability of land pockets for warehouse development. So yes, there is a particular warehousing authority, especially when you go to Davangere and Tumkur side and all, right. There are a lot of planning activities which are taking place along with the industrial development board there. So they are making provision to set up warehouses at each industrial area level. So it's become part of the planning activity itself. So similarly in town planning, or it may be industrial planning, or whatever, industrial area planning and all those things. So there you can even take the feasibility of the land also, and that regulatory authority gives authority for the government to sanction some lands for even warehouse, setting up of various warehouses at different locations, and that will be taken as a part and parcel with the planning authorities, that is industrial planning authorities or town planning authorities or whatever it is. So since the land or space is constrained, and again if you want to set up a new warehouse in a different location altogether, it involves again going for infrastructure facility and looking at the feasibility of land and all those things. Instead of putting so much efforts at the time of town planning or at the industrial planning itself, you get the land allotted for your warehouse also, so that you can go for construction in the later period. But at least if you can get a dedicated space to set up a warehouse, then it saves you a lot of infrastructure related cost and all those things. So keeping those things in mind, they interact with the town planning authority or with the industrial body authorities, whichever is concerned with developing industrial areas and all those things. That is what the point is all about. No distressed sales by the farmer. So normally what happens, you are seeing what the farmers are doing. They are throwing tomatoes. They are literally destroying all the food crops and vegetables and all those things. You have seen on TV, especially post-COVID. Why this is happening? Because of lack of and especially in this budget, right? Self-help groups have been involved now. So they are the people who will be setting up warehouses in various villages now. So the budget of 2020-21 made provision for all these things. Okay, so that has been effective from 1st of April. Warehouses will be now set up by self-help groups. So now government is trying to involve self-help groups, which are doing a very great job, especially in rural finance. So they are involving, they are giving extra responsibility for these self-help groups to start up warehouse at their individual village level. So now to whatever the situation we faced, in the recent months, where tomatoes have been thrown on road, or papayas have been destroyed, or watermelon were destroyed, and all these things we have seen on TV and newspaper also. So such things will not take place in the coming years, because village level warehouses will be there. So when village level warehouses will be there, then definitely again the WDRA makes some provisions at village level also, to help them out in training and setting up of the warehouse, and creating of the regulatory inspections things, standardization. All those things again will be followed in such things. So these are the 5 important takeaway from WDRA Act. So having said so, now we'll move on to the settlement part. Okay, so till now we have talked about warehouses in detail. So now it's time for us to go back and talk something about the clearing and settlement part. Very important. So this takes little bit of time, but I saw your syllabus. I went. I went into your syllabus, but it was not so detailed. Okay, so what I'll do, are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Okay, fine. Because the chat is not working. If you're able to hear me, please message me, okay, through WhatsApp. Yeah, because in the chat, I'm not able to see your comments. That's what I just. So next time when you are not able to hear me, or you are facing some problem, right, just ping me through my WhatsApp number, okay? So just send me. Okay, fine. I think you are able to hear. Yeah, fine. Good. Next we'll go to the very important thing, that is settlement process. So we'll go to the settlement process. Clearing and settlement, this requires a lot of knowledge about the how the market works. Okay, so having given the level of understanding what they're expecting from you in the syllabus, right, and even the time what they have mentioned, through which we need to cover the syllabus, I think they are not expecting you to know much more about trading related activities. So they want you to get familiarized with what are the terminologies which are used, and how the terminologies are getting linked to the market, especially in commodity sense. So what I'll do, I'll just not take you in depth about how the market works. Okay, I'll just talk in brief about what are the various terminologies which are there, and what are the how the trade takes place in general. Okay, so we'll not get into too much of detailed analysis of how trade takes place. Fine. So first and foremost thing, what you need to know is trading system at commodity exchange. So what is the trading system? So as we have already discussed, trading system is most of the time it's an electronic screen-based system only. So trading system is nowhere manual now. It's all same, just like how you do transaction in stock exchanges. So you need to give you will not be given access to the live servers. So you need to take the access from your brokers. So there are depository participants. So the depository participants will help you out in creating your user ID, passwords, and all. And whatever the orders you need to place or whatever the trade you need to do, right, it should be routed through this depository recipient participants. Now, you can't directly go and hit the servers of commodity exchange. Okay, that power they are not given to you. So you need to route it through your orders, booking, everything needs to be done through your regular depository participants through whom you open the accounts. So they will be given access to the stockbrokers and all those things who will be finally entering into the exchanges of the particular markets where you want to book the orders. So member can access the real-time market depth quotes chart. So these are the various inputs which will be available for you. And based on this analysis and based on this fundamental analysis or technical analysis, if you are thorough with all these things, you can see all the documents available, charts available, pricing history, and details about different markets, how it performs. All those informations are available online. So there are a lot of documents which will be available on the website. So whichever the depository participants you want to choose, okay, for dealing with commodity exchange trade, so you will be given access to only those information, and it's a real-time server where you get all the analysis of charts and all those companies and all the commodity wise how it is getting traded or daily prices. All those informations are available. So even you get all the financials of that particular commodities and all those trade over a period of time, and you sitting at your place, you can see all those things. So the first one terminology which you need to know is day orders. So day order, any order to buy or sell which automatically expires if not executed on the day the order is placed is called as a day order. So this is the terminology which you should remember. So day order is it's a buy or sell order, anything it can be. So if you want to buy or if you want to sell, it shows that particular day what is the order value and what is the order price, and this order price will expire on the same day. Okay, so or if you don't execute on the day, that means it's specified to every day. So the orders whatever is prevailing on that particular day of that market, right? So that either a buy or a sell thing, whatever you want to execute, so that order is called as a day order. That is the order which is prevailing on that particular day. So if you don't execute, then that order gets lapsed. That means the order will not be valid. Okay, so that is called as day order. Second one is good till cancelled. That is called as GTC, good till cancelled. So good, or else you can call it as good till cancel. So as the name itself tells, good till cancelled. So any order to buy or sell which lasts until the order is completed or cancelled by the user. So the order gets automatically expired once the contract is expired. So good to cancel orders means good till cancel, or good till means whether it can be till the expiry period or whether it can be cancelled. So cancellation is done with the mutual consent of buyers and sellers. So if you have any order which is there on the system, and where you have placed the order and you want to cancel that order, so you can cancel it, and there are some fees which needs to be for just booking the order and want to cancel that order. So when you cancel that order, that brings the expiry of that order itself. Or when you complete that particular order, so then let us say buying or selling, you do that activity, you complete that activity of buying or selling, then also it will be the order will expire. That is called as good to cancel order, or it's called as GTC, good to cancel order. Next is good to date, good till date. So what is this till date? Again, here we are adding the date factor into our orders placing. So an order requiring that all or part of the order be executed immediately after it has been bought to the market. So any person not executed immediately are cancelled. So that means immediate good till date means the orders are cancelled at the close of the market. Okay, so on the specified day, expiration day will be there on that particular order when you are booking that. So once that order is placed or once the order is executed, or when the date comes into picture, right? Whenever that particular date has come into picture, and if you don't carry any other transaction also, whether you cancel it or whether you don't do the settlement or whatever it is, so automatically the order gets terminated at that point with because of the paucity of the time. So that is called as good till date. Till date means the day when you are taking that particular order into the market. So that gets cancelled if that particular order is not taken to market on that particular day, or if it is not executed on that particular day also. So that order gets automatically cancelled. That is called as good to cancel. So these are different types of orders which will be there in market. And the last one is not last one, last one, but immediate or cancel orders. So what is this IOC? It's called as IOC, immediate or cancel orders. So an order requiring that all or part of the order be executed immediately after it has been bought to the market, or any portion not executed immediately are cancelled. So the immediate or cancel, when you bring that order to the market, and if the order is not if the whole of the order is not bought, only one small part of the order is bought, and only that will be executed, that means the remaining orders will be cancelled. So that is what it means. So immediate or cancel. So whenever you bring it immediately, that order gets executed and the balance order gets cancelled, or if you don't bring it also, that gets cancelled. Okay. Then AON is there, all or none order. AON order is called as all or none order. The all or none order works to safeguard your purchase by providing the guarantee that you neither receive full quantity that you require nor at all. That means if quantity is not available, the order gets expired. So basically, when you are plugging in the orders into the system, right? So you expect that I want certain commodities at certain grade at this certain price. So you will be given some time. Okay. So if within that particular time that order is not matching, or if the full whatever the order numbers you have placed, it doesn't match, then the entire order goes for cancellation or it gets expired. That means again you need to go in and look for the new orders. So this is very important in terms of placing the orders. Especially most of the people will who want to buy or who want to book for orders in bulk, right? They will be ensuring that so much quantity of the orders should be there available at the certain specific time or period of time, and also the price at which they want to buy it. So on that particular day, if that particular quantity and such number of units, whatever you are told, is not matching or is not available in the market, then automatically that particular order gets expired. So once it gets expired, next day you need to again book for the new orders. That's what it means. So that is called as AON, all or none orders. So then there are important things like market order. So buy or sell immediately at the best available counter price. So market orders are those orders where you don't place any orders, but you will be keeping watch on the market, and as soon as there is the best available price which are there, buy or sell price which are appearing or flashing on the screens of the market, right? You try to go and buy it. So it's not booking something in advance. You don't just go into the market virtually and try to buy that. That is called as market orders. So at the best available counter price, you buy that in the market. Then limit orders, an order to buy or sell at a specific price. So that means you are putting a limit or a condition to buy it. What is that condition? If the order is available at this price, I am willing to buy. So that is what the condition of your order. So if that price matches, if the particular order, whatever you have punched matches with the price, whatever you have stated, right? Only then that particular order gets allotted to you. or else if the price doesn't get matched to you, but the orders has been ordered by someone else with a different price, so it goes and gets matched with that person, and that person gets the order. So that is called as limit orders. So limit order is to buy or sell at a specified price. So you need to quantify. If you are a seller in the market, you need to quantify at what is the selling price you are willing to sell. And if there is any buyer who can buy it at the selling price what you are asking for, then your order gets executed. Or else if your order goes to hold, or it goes to queue, wherein until that price comes, right, your order will not be executed. So that is how the process work in limit orders. Then stop orders. So a stop order is a market order that will remain unelected until the stop price is reached. So what is the stop price? Stop price is the price at which we have agreed to go for a ceiling. So that just like it's a ceiling price which has been agreed upon. So the stop order is I have placed something margin under which the price bandwidth under which it should operate. So when I read that stop price only, the transaction takes place, or till that thing the order doesn't get executed. So this will be done through book adjustment, and the orders will not be entered into book unless and until that price, whatever is told, stop price, whatever we are told, right, that stop price is executed. So that stop price is reached, we can call it as not executed. Once selected, it will be treated as similar to a regular market order. So market order, we know how the price behaves in the market, accordingly that will be there. So then stop limiting order. So this is a combination of your stop and limit orders, what we have discussed. So limit is fixing the price and sticking onto that price, but stop is not sticking onto the price. You give the various bandwidth of the price under which you prefer to stop the transactions. So price limit order, you are fixing the price and saying only if the order matches with the same price, then only execution takes place. In stop limit order, both thing, that is stop order as well as limit order is there here. So a stop limit order is a limit order that will remain unelected until the stop price is reached. So when the stop price is reached, that becomes the limit order price, and the stop gets executed. Stop or limit order gets executed. So once selected, a stop limit order will be treated similar to regular limit order. That is, the price will be taken as the criteria. So now coming back to the timings of the market, how the market performs under various time. So all agriculture commodities, right? All agriculture commodities are traded in the market from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that is the time for which you can log for the orders and all. So it is open from the morning 10 a.m. and it goes up to the evening 5 o'clock. This is only for agri commodities. For other commodities like bullion, metals, oil, and other internationally traded agriculture commodities and all other commodities, it is 10 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. So 10 a.m. to 11:30 p.m. Why they have extended up to 11:30 p.m. is because most of the people who will be dealing in bullions and other commodities, right? They will be people from outside also, outside India also. So since they will start their business hours late in the evening, so let us say US and all, they will start up at 5:30. When it is 5:30 for us in the evening, it will be morning 8 o'clock or 7:30 for them. So they need to wake up and they need to start logging into the system and start trading, right? So why that's how even their markets also start performing at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning their time. So since there is a huge time difference between different geographical countries, right? The government has the exchanges have fixed the trading time like this. So especially in terms of other commodities, the time is from 10 a.m. to up to 11:30 p.m. It goes night 11:30 p.m. Why this has been done? In order to take the advantage of time differences in different countries. And most of the time, people from other countries doesn't bet with the local countries' agriculture produce. That's why agriculture produce, most of the domestic trade takes place in the agriculture produce. So domestic trading takes place in agriculture. That's why they have kept it as morning 10 to 5 p.m. But other than agriculture, since all the people across the globe will be looking at investing and start doing trading, they have kept it from 10 o'clock to night 11:30. So this is the timing hours of our exchanges. And weekdays is from the market is operating from all days except Saturdays and Sundays. Okay, Saturdays and Sundays normally market doesn't work, and all other exchange declared holidays. Okay, it's not whatever the calendar holidays we follow. Exchange has its own holidays. Okay, exchange has declared its own holidays. So whatever the exchange declared holidays are there, on that day also market doesn't work. So those are the important things relating to the order. If you want to see, because see, one thing is very specific here. As we discussed about, there are 7 major exchanges in India. So each exchanges has its own way of doing some transaction relating to settlement and clearance. Okay, so there are some specific things which are done in specific markets. So you cannot generalize and say what the normal procedure of clearance and settlements which happens. But I can tell you from the exchange per se how it is defined. But the process defines, or step-by-step thing of how the settlement takes place differ from one exchange to another exchange. So there is no uniform guidelines under which these things are working. Okay, so coming back to this, who are the parties which are there? Okay, if you ask me who are the parties which are there in this commodity exchange, that means if I want to know what is the ecosystem of the entire commodity exchange, MCX, since MCX is one of the largest exchanges, multi-commodity exchanges, where all the commodities, most of the commodities are traded. This is how the ecosystem works. Who are the parties? So there are people like quality certification agencies will be there. Hedgers will be there. So hedgers are basically exporters, industry people. All these people are hedgers. Producers will be there. So normally farmers and cooperatives and institutions, they are the producers. Then traders will be there, like speculator, arbitragers. Clients also will be there. Consumers will be there, that is retailers and institutions. Transporters, support agencies also will be there. Clearing banks will be there. Warehouses will be there. These are the various ecosystem under which the trade works, trade takes place. So ecosystem means what all the some network of all these things which are associated for carrying out smooth trading. Okay, they are called as ecosystems. So warehouse is an ecosystem. We know that without warehouse, commodity cannot be stored. And of course, there should be people who supply to that warehouse. They are called as traders. So we know that producers and traders, because sometimes a farmer doesn't directly come to the warehouse. He gets it routed through traders. That means there are middlemen who try to procure from farmers and they start keeping it in the warehouse. So they are called as traders. So hedgers will be there. Of course, hedgers like exporters will be there, and industry people will be there. All those things are there. Consumers, of course, are a retail institution. They are the people who will be willing to look for that particular commodities in future. And clearing banks will be there. So there are dedicated banks which do this clearing activities. They as a separate activity itself, other than core banking activities. So even they are also there. So these are the ecosystems which are prevailing in the system. So to my next class, I will talk about commodity brokerage and what are the different brokerage system and all those things. It requires a lot of time to understand how the trade takes place. Okay, I will explain you the various concepts and various terminologies which are there in this trade. So in the next class, I'll be talking about all those things. So if you have any questions or if you have any doubts, you can just raise it to me. I think some chat is not working. Live chat is not working. You can just, if you have any questions, you can just message me through WhatsApp. So any questions, please? I will share all these presentations. Okay, don't worry about the presentation part. I will share all these presentations to you. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay, I'm getting most of you are not having any questions. Okay, so then we are good to end the session here. So I'll send the next meeting request after some time. So next classes will be very important. Okay, next topic is on derivative markets. Okay, that is very important topic. You can expect few questions from there. And also the next settlement process, what I will be talking about, right? So various terminologies are there. Definitely they will be asking these terminologies. You should be aware of all these terminologies. apart from these limit orders and all these order types also, market order, limit order, and stop orders and stop limit orders, all these things you should be aware of. Okay, so please look into these terminologies again, or else if you don't understand, the video is available again. Okay, you can just log in again and you can listen to the video as many times as you can, so that you can remember the words. Okay, fine. Thank you for the day.